it's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
Well, it's a fantasy. It's not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. And it's about people. It's finally about people and not finally about science.
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of.
Sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny works for good and also works for evil.
Marvellous, healthy innocence. Great pace, wonderful to look at, full of guts, nothing unpleasant. I mean, people go bang bang and people fall over and are dead, but, no horrors. A sort of wonderful freshness about it, kind of like a wonderful fresh air.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention.
Hello and welcome to Generation Skywalker. We are back again with another Modern Way, episode 27. Episode 27 doesn't feel many considering we've been recording for 5 years. But hey, who's with me? I have got Peter Lee, the man with two names. Good evening, Pete.
Good evening, Stu. How you doing, mate?
I'm all good, buddy. All good. Always good to chat a bit of modern.
Indeed, indeed.
And I've got with me the Burgess. Good evening, Dan.
Hello there.
How are you? Well, you're fresh back from Disney, which we're going to get on in a minute about. But are you all right?
I'm all right.
Good. Well, we haven't got Jez with us tonight. He has been to Celebration and he is actually travelling back from Japan as we speak. I think he's just landed in Heathrow, actually. I think he just put in the messages. But so he is off grid tonight. So, Dan, you've been to the States. What part of the States did you go?
Florida.
Florida. Nice, nice. And Disney, tell us about it. Tell us what Star Wars you saw.
I didn't go to Disney.
Did you? I thought you did.
No. We went to Disney Springs, which is kind of like it's kind of like the shopping centre within the kind of all of the Disney parks that you can go if you haven't got tickets. And I did pick you up some retro collection.
You did. You good lad. You're a good lad. You're a good boy. Yeah. Well, you enjoy that.
So there's a Galaxy's Edge, what they call it, the outpost. So you can't get all of the items that you can get in the actual park itself, but they have a lot of the legacy lightsabers. They had those C-3PO heads there, which I very nearly bought one. You remember the one that I think we auctioned one, didn't we, at Christmas? They were selling them in a Disney store and they had them in there. They were like $120, so about 90 quid. But
they were quite nice.
I just wouldn't have got it in the case and I was worried it was going to get damaged. So yeah, I did pass on that in the end. But I did get a Darth Vader paperweight.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice. So worthwhile trip with Star Wars then.
Yeah. Well, I did put a video. I did find a shop that there he is there.
Did. That's nice.
$20. That $20. They had a Yoda and I don't know, it must have been like a Darth Bane or something as well. So yeah, that was my Galaxy's Edge purchase. And Harrison got the Darksaber, like the Legacy Darksaber, which comes with a nice stand. Yeah,
I've seen that. Cool. That's a nice piece. It's a nice piece.
Yeah.
Those paperweights are really good if like you've got a lot of paper and like you've got a window open, but it's a bit breezy. You can put that on top of the paper. Yeah.
Could have thrown at people as well.
I'm glad we don't record this in the same room because I reckon I'd be hit quite often.
I did go to I did find a store though, Echo Base Collectables, believe it or not, which is out just up near Universal and just off International Drive, and they had a lot of Star Wars in there. They had other ranges as well, so we had Mask and Thundercats and He-Man and Transformers, cabinets of stuff, and they had a big load of Star Wars as well. So they had lots of modern stuff. So from Power of the Force through to Black Series and Vintage Collection, a lot of the rarer ones as well. So some of those rarer Vintage Collection figures from the kind of the first round of that in the early 2010s, they had a lot of those ones like General Grievous and I'm trying to think now, like the Darth Sidious. They're quite pricey ones still, and a small amount of vintage as well. But it was, I wouldn't say it was well priced. I very nearly bought an IG-88 baggy, but we just couldn't agree on a price on that. But Harrison did get a Black Series Darth Vader from the 40th anniversary, the one on the vintage card that came with the display stand. And so you picked that up from there. But yeah, it was a pretty cool shop. So if you are out in Florida and looking for some Star Wars, that's a pretty cool place to go.
Nice. Well, you've had a nice trip. I like that. Well, so The Modern Way, I know one only came out about 4 weeks ago. But actually, we recorded that back in like the middle of January, and I was just poor at getting around to editing it. So it has been a little while since we actually recorded one. So since January, have we picked any modern bits up? Pete, I'll start with you.
Not actually in hand, but I've pre-ordered a couple of bits, which is a lot more than last time. I don't think I bought anything last year modern, but I got that new retro collection set, the one with hand set, Luke Ceremonial hand Stormtrooper, that set, which I think you jumped on as well. So I thought that looked pretty cool and is what the retro set collection should be all about. And the Mon Mothma and Yak Face collection as well, the Jedi set. They've just rerun those, haven't they? Everyone went mad a few weeks back, and I've got those too. I'm pretty hyped about those, and I'm like trying to resist going down the retro route. I know you've been jumping on it, and you can get them cheap. So I know when Dan put that post up when he was away, I was sort of looking at that New Hope set, and it looked pretty nice, the second one. But I resisted. There's too many of them out there.
The re-release of that Return of the Jedi Second Wave box set was making me laugh because it was we were at Echo at the end of, when did we go to Echo? End of March?
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago, was it?
Or the beginning of April even, and it was those box sets. I mean, I saw a couple there. I think one I saw for about 325 quid. People were selling the figures. We've spoke about it on the last show. Mon Mothma selling for about 120 quid. Yak for 100. I think the Gamorrean Guard's been going for about 80. So it was actually quite refreshing to see Hasbro do more runs rather than people just getting absolutely scalped and not being able to get these figures. They re-released them, and all of a sudden, I think one night I was sitting at home, Star Action Figures put a post up, 55 quid pre-order for, I think, October time. I think they're due to arrive. And I thought, well, absolutely brilliant, because some of these scalpers, I'm sure these people buy them in bulk, knowing that they'll be discontinued. So actually, quite refreshing to see in that respect.
Well, they seem to get the numbers all wrong, because a lot of those are sitting there. Like that Phantom Menace set is sitting on various sites, isn't it, for 30 quid, and it's still not gone out of stock, and it has been that price for, I remember that went up to at Christmas, I think it was down to that, and it's still sitting there. So they must overproduce hugely on some of them. And then that Jedi set, the first run of that must have been tiny, because that was gone within days and never came back.
Well, also that set that was announced at Farthest From that we're waiting from, that sold out on the first day. But I'm sure that they'll come through with more of that as well, because they're not produced yet. So you're kind of like, Star Action Figures, I put a post, I don't know if you saw it, saying that the retro collection is by far the biggest seller of any Star Wars line. I mean, I think they were talking like 3 or 4 times the amount of the next most popular line, which is incredible, really. So, but we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute, because when I get onto my retro collection. But yeah, nice to see it popular. But nice to see you back in the game, Pete.
Yeah,
just in the game. And no hot toy there, I didn't hear. So we'll keep on that one. We'll see what's been announced tonight, because they're finally announced quite a few, actually.
There is a nice one in there.
Yeah. Dan, purchased anything? Obviously a paperweight.
Just prints really. So I've posted on Instagram a few of them. There's one from I got these off. So Bottleneck Gallery have pretty much become the new Mondo now, since they've stopped doing a lot of the posters they were doing. And there was an artist called Phase Runner who's done a series of posters called Defining Moments. And I've got the Empire Strikes Back one, which is a lithograph. So it's Luke and Vader on the gantry at Bespin, and as you kind of walk past it, the picture moves like the old hologram stickers you used to get with your packet of cereals, but it's done a lot better. So I've got one of those, and I've pre-ordered from another artist called Chris Valentine. He's done a series of free posters. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but I think they're gorgeous. There's an Empire, a Jedi, and a Star Wars one. and I just think they look fantastic. Have you seen those? Did you see the post I put up of them?
Yeah, I did. They are nice. They are nice. He commented, did he? I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. He was really grateful that we put them up, and they pretty cool. So yeah, I've ordered those 3 as well. I got the Japanese variants. There was a timed edition, so I think they ended up as about 4,000 copies of those sold, but there were some limited edition versions as well. So I got the Japanese ones, as it was celebration was happening that weekend. So I thought I'd go for those. So hopefully I'll have those in a few months' time. And I also got a Ralph McQuarrie print from them as well. Do you know the one of Yoda where he's standing in the Dagobah in the jungle and he's kind of looking up into the sky? I think it was like a fan club sticker they did at some point as well. So I've got a nice big print of that as well. So I'm going to get that framed up and hung somewhere in the house somewhere. I have pre-ordered a Hot Toy, but I might save that for when we talk Hot Toys.
Yeah, okay. I've actually pre-ordered the same one, Dan, so we'll save that for the Hot Toys
Okay.
as well.
Just on Hot Toys, has anyone considered yet? And I was thinking about it while I was driving home this evening. With all the these tariffs that Trump's putting on China, how's that going to?
Okay, can I bring that up in a minute, because I want to talk about June's The Modern Way, and that massively is based around this topic. So if we can just finish this, I'll bring that back up. That's a very good point, Dan, because I do already have some opinions of it, and I want to get listeners to get involved with what I've been reading online. So get to that in a minute once we've finished our acquisitions.
Yeah, that's it from me then. So I'll talk about the Hot Toys I've ordered as we go through Hot Toys.
For me, I have been I've been having fun with the retro collection. I'm not going to overpay. I've put loads of bids in on auctions. On eBay, I've won a few. I've got bits and pieces. I managed to pick up the whole of the second wave of Mando at various stalls at Echo, and I didn't pay more than £5 for any of the figures. Some of them are £3. Managed to get the first one of the 2 packs of the Bounty Hunters. They're still available. They tend to be around 35 quid, but actually I've been watching the IG and Denga 2-pack, which was about 15 quid on Amazon. I hadn't pulled the trigger, and it went down to 12 quid a couple of days ago. So I pulled the trigger of that this week. I went into Game and managed to find a couple of the Ahsoka line for I think one was 4 quid and one was a £5. I just think that's the way of doing it. And the Tarkin board game made me laugh the most, because I noticed that Echo and online people are selling just the Tarkin carded figure for 35 quid. So I was sitting at home just browsing the things. In Demand still got the board game for 16 quid with the figure. So so I've purchased that. So
you're doing a loose set, aren't you? Where you see
I'm opening them, mate. Yeah, I think they're really nice actually. You were just talking about the Phantom Menace set. The Amidala in that, in the Queen get-up, is brilliant. I mean, they're just fun, you know. I'm just loving opening them up. It does feel a bit weird opening up the ones that we saw years ago, but when they're mixed in with lots of other different figures, it's it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. In January. God, sorry.
I was going to say, did you I remember years ago when the Mandalorian one started coming out, we were doing unboxings of those. Did you still have all of those, or have you had to rebuy those?
No, I am, because I was only on the last show. You said that we did that double unboxing, right? Yeah. And I found them loose at the back of a shelf.
Okay.
So I've got all them. Yeah, and I found I had got a shipper with the complete Kenobi range in as well. Right. So I've got all of those, and then I've just got bits and pieces from them. The other lines just
update your list, because they turn up in weird places on discount.
Yeah, well, there's with the ones that were announced at Christmas, there's 102, 103 if you get both fets, but it's the same out of the 2-pack and out of the Empire card, but it's the same figure. So I've knocked that one down to 1. So there's 102. I've got 40 in hand now, and that doesn't include the 6 that Dan's got for me and the 12 that I've got pre-ordered. So I'm up to just short of 60 of them. So just a bit of fun. I'm just waiting for that. The Acolyte box set's still around on some of those groups, and that's slowly coming down in price. Although I've got 2 of the figures from it, I'm kind of waiting to see if it will drop another tenner or so. And also on the last show, it was funny because we were only talking about Lego, saying, are they going to do any of the Lego helmets anymore? They seem to have gone. I've just had my birthday, and my wife did get me the AT-AT driver Lego helmet to build. Nice. So nice. And there is a bit more news of them in the Lego chat. Nice to see them back though. A great choice of helmet. But
agree. I think I'm going to be getting that in a few weeks' time as well. I did you mentioned game there, and that just reminded me. I did get a vintage collection figure. I got, and they had Krennic for a tenner, and I couldn't resist. So yeah, back to when I used to have a run of Rogue One vintage collection figures. I thought, and that was one I always wanted, and I saw it, and I thought, I'm just going to get one. So yeah, I bought that as well.
Great to see him back in Andor as well. I love Ben Mendelsohn as an actor. Do you ever watch Bloodline? It's a great.
No, he's good in Ready Player One as the villain in that. I'm not seen Bloodline though.
Oh, you should watch that as a series. It's really good, really strong. Right, Dan. So you just brought up something. So May's Modern Way is going to be just a special for the toys of Revenge of the Sith, as it is the anniversary. But in June, we will. I don't know how much announcements we've had. We've got a lot of announcements tonight, but I think they'll slow up a little bit with regards to that. So I want the topic to be. You just brought up the tariffs, and I've been reading online already in America. Vintage collection have gone up by £2, and Black Series have gone up by $3 and $2. And obviously, a lot of the toys are made in China. Now, I know that Hasbro have already sourced something out to Vietnam, but generally their stuff is in China. So I do want us to have a really big debate about how that's going to affect the hobby, because I'm also reading online a lot of modern collectors, and we're talking diehard modern collectors, are saying they think this is it for Star Wars toy collecting, that over the next couple of years you're going to see it completely dry up and just disappear, which will be tragic. But like they say, once upon a time you could go in a shop, pick something up for £6-7. Now you're talking about 30 quid for a Black Series figure, best part of 20 quid for a vintage collection figure. Is it really a viable hobby when there's so much stuff coming out? And you just brought up the tariffs as well. I mean, Hot Toys are they made in China, aren't they?
Oh, it's Hong Kong, isn't it? They're Hong Kong company.
Right, yeah, so it's all going to come under the same.
Yeah.
Vietnam's in heavy on tariffs as well, so they're all, until they sort it all out, until they come to deals, if they come to deals, it's just all over the place, isn't it? But
I mean, from our perspective, I mean, Hot Toys, bringing them into the UK direct from Hong Kong, whether that's through, a Hong Kong seller or someone that sells them in the UK and imports them, we shouldn't really be affected. But if you're buying them off Sideshow and they're having to pay the tariffs to get it into the States, then that method of buying them is going to become less and less viable. And I do worry about people who have made pre-orders. I mean, are they going to be out of one of those prices? Your Hot Toys you're pre-ordering now for £200. In 6 months' time when it gets released, is it actually going to be £400 or £500 to get that in your hand? Yeah,
because I've got two in full swing at the moment with them, Kit Fisto and Chewbacca.
So where do you get them from? Do you order from Asia and they come from America? Is that right? Or...
Yeah. So Sideshow the licensee for Hot Toys in America.
I've always ordered from them just for peace of mind, because I do get stung on the import. Customs. Yeah, but at the same time, and I don't want to bring this up, Dan, because I know you're quite emotional about it. But
no, you can bring it up.
You did eventually get stung by that company.
Yeah.
So
they've gone bankrupt now, and the guy, I don't know if he's in prison or not, but he's definitely, the authorities are after him. That all kind of came to a head. But Lee Ward's a great option. You pay a deposit and you don't have to pay for the toy until he's actually got it in his hand. So that, for me, with the threat of these tariffs, I mean, we're going to talk about pre-orders in a minute, but that was one that there was no way I was going to order that from Sideshow because of that. It was just like, there's no way. Lee has been the best option for a while, and that just cemented it for me. He's not got the installment plans. You pay a deposit, £30, and then when he says right, it's ready to ship, you've got to give him a couple of £100 to pay for the balance. But it is what it is now, isn't it? You're gonna have to deal with it until it all sorts itself out, and who knows when that's going to be.
So I think I do want to break it down into a couple of different topics. I do want us to break that down, maybe do a bit of research and see what the effect it's already having on the pricing on the market. I'm aware that the Hasbro Pulse site was the only site that hadn't added the extra costings to the actual places in America at this point. But
on the US site, on the .com site.
this was over in America. I think all things like Amazon and everything, and where do all the places do the exclusives? Not just GameStop. They have another one out there, don't they?
Target,
that's the one. I think all their prices are already being put up by $2-3 for each of these.
Well, I was in Walmart last week, and vintage collection. It's not the kind of regular ones. The ones that come on the bigger cards, like the deluxe ones.
Yeah.
they were like $26, which is still only like probably 20, 21, 22 pounds. But I was kind of like, no way.
They're retailing here £25. Well, it'll be interesting because this sort of global pricing we've seen in the last 10 years just is out the window now, isn't it? If the tariffs are just going to sort of blow that apart. So it'd be fascinating to see how it all settles. But if we can work a deal out with the US and we kind of can import from Asia still pretty reasonably, there's an opportunity, a huge opportunity for sort of Europe, isn't there? I would have thought. Like,
you're such a pro-Brexiter, aren't you, Peter?
I'm not at all. No, but the opportunity, like in Europe, I say Europe, but I mean in the UK, because if we're not, we seem to be sort of sorting something out at the moment. And yeah, China, like 145 at the moment?
45%, 145% on tariff on imports.
Where does it come down from there? It's not a long way to drop to make anything like workable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I do want to bring up the whole, I listen to a few modern collecting podcasts, and some of these collectors are proper old school collectors, and they're all predicting that Star Wars collecting is on its last legs. So I'll be very interested to have that debate and see what our listeners think of that, to bring up their opinions, because it'd be very sad to see. I suppose I think there's been thousands upon thousands of figures, so you have got plenty to delve back into if you want to continue.
Yeah, that might be where if you think of all the thousands and thousands of figures that are still carded on modern, I think that will become a more of that. You'll probably see, where we see vintage prices going up, because we've always had this stream of new stuff. We haven't really seen those price increases on, some things we have, but generally there's a lot of stuff you can still get for pennies or pounds. But we might see that start to creep up as people start getting more into collecting the stuff that's already out there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite an interesting couple of years going forward with it. We digress. That is for June's podcast, and we will return to that. So let's get over to announcements, because we have had Celebration announcements. We have had some fan streams from both Hasbro Pulse and from Star Wars itself. So there's been quite a few announcements since we last recorded. So we're going to give these a quick overview. 4 sections: Hot Toys, Vintage Collection, Black Series and Lego. And then a few oddities. There's been a few interesting bits and pieces announced, so we will look at them as well before going on to our main topic. So, Dan, Hot Toys. We were saying on the January show that hadn't been a great deal of announcements, and then there's been no end.
Yeah, I don't think we covered Hot Toys, did we? Did we just do? I think we skipped over Hot Toys.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I think they're on the show notes, and we skipped over them because of the lack of stuff.
Yeah, so we've got like stuff that's been announced since the back end of last year, a handful of those, and then some stuff that's come out this year. I'll start off with the Hondo Studio stuff, just because they're kind of the new cheaper Hot Toys, but they're a bit different. So they've already done a number of these for Marvel, so they tend to be less detailed, more comic book inspired versions of the figures. They're still 12 inches tall or 1/6 scale height, and they're going to do a Rebels Stormtrooper and a Rebels Squad Leader. They've been put up for pre already, and they've teased the Darth Vader's on its way as well. So they very much look like the Rebels incarnations of those characters. Haven't obviously got the same level of detail as what they've got, for a TV or a movie version of those characters. They're much simpler sculpts, and I've read about going to be about 30 to 50% less than a Hot Toy. So you're probably going to be looking at, I don't know, around £150 for one of these, depending on how big they are. I imagine the Vader will be a bit more, but the Stormtrooper, I reckon you'll be looking to pay around £100 for that. They're not for me. I don't think they're things that I'm going up. But if you're a fan of Rebels and that comic book styling, yeah, this could be something you might be interested in. Any thoughts on those, Stu? I'm not going to stop and start for everyone, but obviously that's a new line that Hot Toys are bringing out. Any thoughts on those?
Well, I didn't realise they were Hot Toys to start with. When I first saw them, I think I saw them come up on a Facebook page and Hono Studio, and it was only when I opened them and looked into them. They're quite nice. I mean, if you're a Rebels fan, I totally get that. If you've got a sci-fi goods, they're not for me, but I can see the appeal if that's your thing.
Yeah. You had a look at those, Pete?
Yeah, I quite like them. I guess it's one of those things. Is that the first time they've kind of done Rebels in that style?
Yeah, they have. They've done. I think they've done like a a Wolverine and a Magneto and stuff like that, and now they're starting it on some of the animated Star Wars characters.
Yeah, I think they're quite cool.
Not enough to buy one. And then elsewhere, so proper real Hot Toys, we're getting a Darth Malgus. So from the old KOTOR or Knights of the Old Republic video games, they're bringing out a Darth Malgus. We're getting a Rogue One Cassian Andor version of K2SO. We're getting an Ahsoka Tano. We've already had one, but they're bringing another one out from the Ahsoka series. A General Grievous, a Savage Press, Darth Maul's brother, a Plo Koon that you've just mentioned you've pre-ordered, Stu, and a TIE Fighter pilot, which is the one that I've pre-ordered. So I'm guessing then that you have as well, Stu.
I haven't ordered Plo Koon. I've ordered Kit Fisto.
Oh, okay. So he's from a little bit while
I'm
back.
I'm tempted by Plo Koon because he'd look quite cool alongside Kit Fisto.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get him now, mate. Get on it. Let's do a live purchase. We ain't done
Oh,
one
you
of
were
those
just
for a
like
while.
telling me what was what. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
then we had
order that TIE Fighter. I think he looks amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
It'll be a good one, definitely. One they should have done a while back. I'm hoping that means they might do an AT-AT driver.
Oh, I'd love that as well.
Yeah. And then for the Celebration exclusives, and some of these will be getting a general release as well, there was the Cherry Blossom Stormtrooper. I think the Celebration version, Jez was telling me when I spoke to him, it was actually yesterday at time of recording, he couldn't get one. They sold out super quick at the show. People were buying multiples of them. There was no control over how many people could buy. Apparently there was one woman that walked out of the Hot Toy store with 40. I don't know if it was all these Stormtroopers, but yeah, apparently she bought 40 Hot Toys. How you carry them out of Celebration, I don't know. So yeah, and there's going to be another version of that released without the kimono. That's going to be I think that's going to be a general release. There was a Darth Vader, which is it's kind of got it's a bit different, this one. So they've added some like kind of highlights to it, some pink highlights or red highlights, so it looks like it's lit up. I didn't think much to it. I don't know. I know we were talking online about it, Stu. You're in the same place. Jez was trying to get me to order one. He was going to pick me one up from Celebration, and I told him no. And there's a concept style Darth Maul. So for any of you familiar with the Episode 1 concept art, one of the earliest pictures of Darth Maul, he's kind of wearing this leather. It looks leather anyways. A yellow leather bodysuit. So they've produced that as well. And they've also done another version of the Anakin, the Artisan edition. So it's the one with the real hair, but this time they've basically coloured his eyes in red. But it's the Darth Vader version of that character, and I think that sold out pretty quickly at Celebration as well. I think that's an edition of 1,500. They had 500 available at Celebration, and then there's another 1,000 that will be available outside of the convention as well. I'm guessing you need to go through Hong Kong distributors to pick that one up. But yeah, that's all of the Hot Toys. What do you reckon then? What stands out of that lot? What's your pick?
A lot of stuff, isn't there?
I quite liked a few of these though. I think this is always the problem with Hot Toys. They do a good job. If I was at Celebration, I think the Stormtrooper with the cherry blossoms on it would have been quite a nice souvenir.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd buy it without being at the convention.
No.
But I do think it had some gravitas there. The Darth Maul is actually being released, isn't it? Just in other packaging.
Yeah.
It was just the exclusive packaging out there. I think Savage Press looks really good. I think the Grievous looks pretty good. Yeah, it's a slippery slope. I do like Plo Koon. It's nice to see K2SO coming back out. He'd got a bit of money. Darth Malgus is there. Nonsense.
They're all really good, aren't they? I mean, I've tried to focus my Hot Toys now, and it is kind of got to be, I think I said in the last one, Empire Strikes Back relevant to me, which is the TIE Fighter pilot. I think you see him when he gets blown up in the TIE Fighter, when an asteroid hits it and he flies out of the cockpit. That's as close as you see him. But I'll take that, and I'm going to add a TIE Fighter pilot in. But yeah, the other one, the General Grievous is going to be great. I'm sure there was loads of problems with the Sideshow version. It couldn't hold its own weight; it would fall over. I'm pretty confident that Hot Toys are going to be able to do something a little bit more impressive with that. Yeah. But I just like you say, it gets out of hand, and I can't go down that road.
That's the first K2SO they've done. Did they do a Rogue One K2SO?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think they've done another version for Mando season 3. They did I think they featured that droid when Mandalore was being destroyed. When was it, The Night of a Thousand Tears or something?
Yeah.
And they showed them like Terminators walking over the landscape. But I think they bought one out for that as well. So yeah, they've released it a few times. But that's a pretty impressive looking hot toy as well, though.
Yeah, they just keep smashing it. It annoys me. I don't like recording these because it really highlights them to me when I'm like pulling up the
Well, I know. That's why I ordered the TIE
links
Fighter
and
pilot.
stuff.
I was,
Yeah.
I've unshackled myself. I've got the Chewie on pre-order, and that's it. And then you pull me back in.
That's why no one bought anything last year, modern, because we didn't bloody record any modern ways.
Hopefully that'll be out soon.
Good fun. Well, some interesting pieces there. I do think they've done a good job of that. So over to you, Pete. Let's move on to the vintage collection.
Yeah, this seems, considering this is just announcement since we last recorded, it's pretty extensive. But yeah, they had a Star Wars fan stream on the 26th of February. When what did we get? We got the Luke's land speeder was announced as a pipeline, but I will get back to that because that was followed up pretty soon after. You had Ponda Baba, which is a reissued figure, I believe, so Walrus Man in old money. You had Momor Nandon, which is also his Hammerhead, coming in larger size vintage collection, so it's deluxe. So I'm assuming they've gone away from the boxes on the deluxe figures and they're just coming on carded, like the larger size carded with the larger bubbles and all the accessories, but coming in at $24.99, which is pretty hefty. So yeah, he's got quite a few accessories. Got an alternative hand, a couple of blasters, a staff, a cup, I guess for the cantina, and he's got some soft goods. So yeah, I like it. I think it's a pretty nice looking figure. We've got the Imperial Armoured Commando. I tried to look where he appears, but he's in that episode of Mando, chapter 23, The Spies. He's in there, which is also a deluxe figure coming with a whole load of accessories. So yeah, 5 accessories. He's got a riot shield, dagger, long and short blasters, and a baton. So he looks pretty cool. We also had another Hasbro Pulse Stream on the 25th of March. We've got Carson Teva announced, massive fan favourite. So he's the X-Wing pilot who keeps turning up everywhere throughout Mandalorian. And it's worth watching the Pulse Stream, actually. They go have an interview with him. He's pretty funny. And it's a great looking figure, great detail on there. Goes into all the detail of what all the badges mean and everything. So he's a removable helmet on him. He's looking pretty cool. Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars, dual lightsabers. You've got Agent Callus from Rebels, which is incredible detail. They're talking about how they do these animated characters, but they make them, they've got some software where they can convert them into like a real life sort of human, and looks pretty good. And that card back's pretty cool on those as well. They're re-releasing Dengar, which unbelievable was the first vintage collection they did. His like the previous release for Dengar was VC01, so he was the first one they ever did way back when they first released the range. And he's got a pretty cool new card back image of him. I don't think I've seen that image before. But yeah, as I mentioned on the previous fan stream they did, the pipeline was the land speeder. So they actually did the full announcement on this with the box and the finished article. It looks amazing. It looks really good. Retooled, loads of sort of weathering. Looks amazing. And they've also, for the first time apparently on the land speeder, they've actually got the space where you can fit C-3PO in the back, and they've got a little slot where you can fit his legs so it looks natural rather than just plonked there on the back of it. And he's also the set's also coming with a deluxe Luke, which is really nice. Lots of soft goods. He's got his poncho and a tunic. He's got binoculars, a lightsaber, his hunting rifle. He's got the hat, weathered boots. I haven't sort of checked it closely, but it looks like the Luke they released earlier in the year, so they're sort of just putting him onto a deluxe card, which they
It's very nice, isn't it? I liked that deluxe figure.
Yeah,
it's going to go for a fortune, isn't it? People are going to flip that out on its own.
Yeah, and they seem to have sold out in most places, because I like all these things. You sort of see them and they pass you by, and then you go back and look and think, I should have ordered that. And it's sold out in most places. I found it at Comics and Cocktails. I think they had it. I might pull the trigger on that. But yeah, the box, you've got the sort of retro sort of diorama on one side, and then they've done a more kind of modern looking set diorama on the other side. But no, that looks very nice indeed. And then moving to so again, that looks the land speed as part of the Tatooine promotion. They've been doing all of that this year, and they return to Tatooine. They keep on at that, so it's quite a good way of doing things. So it'll be interesting to see what else we're going to get on that line. Moving to Celebration, last week there was more reveals. You had Night Sister Merrin from Jedi Survivor computer game, Moff Gideon in his Dark Trooper armor, again from the end of Series 3 Mandalorian, which this is a great looking figure. A shame it hasn't got a removable helmet, I thought. I don't know if I can't remember if you see it. Yeah, you do see him with that helmet on, don't you? But I'm surprised this one isn't the deluxe figure. It kind of feels like it should have, but knowing Hasbro, I suspect it will end up being a deluxe figure at some stage with a removable helmet and a load more accessories. You've also got the rocket launcher, Trooper from Jedi Survivor, so more on the computer games front, but I guess this could fit into, I'm sure we've seen a rocket launching Stormtrooper in many other series. You got Crosshair from the Bad Batch. They seem to have underproduced on the Bad Batch, only a Hunter and a Trooper 4-pack they've done so far, which I could find. And then you've got Cobb Vanth on a regular vintage collection card, which seems a wee bit cheeky because it wasn't that long ago you got the vintage. You've got the deluxe Cobb Vanth. It's almost seems within months they've released these two. And then the big news for Celebration was the announcement of the Bantha. They've announced that. So I think they've only done that once before with the Power of the Force many years ago when you had the little hole in the plastic when you could sort of feel the fur. So they've gone for it again. Looks very furry. Does look fun and comes with a carded Tusken Raider. So again on that sort of return to Tatooine promotion. So hopefully we get a new dewback as well. I'm sure that's going to be in the mix for the year. So lots going on in vintage.
Yeah, they do seem to be going back to those creatures, don't they, in the vintage collection line, which is nice. Yeah, it does look good. And this land speeder, I think they've revisited these a lot. Like land speeder, there's a lot of land speeders, isn't there, in the modern world, but this one does look great, and the weathering just looks fantastic. So, and yeah, with the deluxe Luke might be a pickup.
Yeah, I think he'll be expensive without the vehicle when people stop flipping out.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, nice. Nothing tempting you there, Dan?
Bantha's really nice.
Yeah, I think I'll be in for a Bantha.
I'm not sure about the figures. There's nothing there that's really standing out to me, but that Bantha definitely, when they announced it, I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Exciting days. We're going to be all over these. Okay. Now, a line that's kind of like, it's starting to pass me by a little bit. I've lost my interest in it, and that is the Black Series. Has there been much announced, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's rattle through these. So we've had a Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars and a Phase 1 Captain Rex. So another Captain Rex. And then we've seen a Moff Gideon in Dark Trooper armor, an Imperial Praetorian Guard, Cassian Andor in his Sinar. Is it pronounced Sinar? I'm not really that familiar with the new series yet because we've only just got it today. But the Sinar test pilot uniform that he wears at the beginning of the first episode.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Director Orson Krennic, which I'm guessing again is another Andor Season 2 costume or re-release. And a 501st Clone Trooper helmet, which is a GameStop exclusive that looks pretty cool. And then we've got some Revenge of the Sith 20 anniversary packaging. So this is the old, well, I say the old, it's old now, it's 20 years old. So the packaging, like they did for the Phantom Menace when they re-released, I think they had like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul on the original packaging scaled up for Black Series size. They've done it with the Revenge of the Sith packaging. If you remember that, it's got the Darth Vader over the top of it. Yeah, pretty cool. We've got a Count Dooku, Kit Fisto, R2D2, and a 501st Clone Trooper. So they look pretty cool. So they're all up for pre-order now. And we've also had in the Black Series a Night Trooper or Death Trooper from Ahsoka, an Ezra Bridger from Ahsoka, SM-33, who was the droid voiced by Nick Frost in Skeleton Crew. So they're bringing out a figure of that. Then at Celebration, we've had the exclusive Ronin and R5D56, which is from the very first Visions episode, which looks pretty cool, actually. It's in black and white. I think Jez actually picked one of those up, believe it or not. And we've got the Imperial Death Trooper helmet, which was revealed at Celebration. And then also revealed at the Celebration Hasbro panel, they're re-releasing Han Solo from A New Hope, Chewbacca from A New Hope, Night Sister Merrin from Jedi Survivor, Dash Rendar from Shadows of the Empire, amazing. And they're also releasing a 3-pack of Cal Kestis, Turgil, and Scuva Stev from Jedi Survivor, which is going to be an Amazon exclusive. And then the Hasbro Celebration booth reveals will Director Krennic and an ISB tactical agent. So yeah, quite a lot there. I just want to pause on the Han Solo and Chewbacca though, because I remember when Black Series, or specifically the Han Solo. So when Black Series was originally announced back in like 2013, 2014, when they released these figures, they were meant to be the ultimate version of each figure. And that original Han Solo came with additional hands, the ones where he's wearing gloves, and lots of other accessories. We were never meant to get another one of these. Why are we getting another Han Solo? I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, we're getting Han Solo again, which is crazy.
They seem to churn out a Cal Kestis every couple of months as well, don't they?
Yeah. But that was like one of the very first figures they did. It just seems yeah, they're taking another stab at it for no good reason. That figure that's out there already is pretty cool if you're into Black Series.
Are they redoing all the Shadows of the Empire as well? Didn't they just do the Luke and Leia Burge, didn't they? And in some 2-pack, I think. But
this one's Dash Rendar, so it's the kind of Han Solo substitute because he was in Carbonite. But yeah, I mean, if you're into Shadows of the Empire, I think that's probably a cool one. It's going to be a brand new sculpt. But yeah, that one stood out to me as a bit of a head scratcher. But yeah, there isn't anything in there that, I'll be honest with you, that I'm going to go rush out to buy. I'm not feeling Black Series at the minute. So, but yeah, fair play. More power to the people that do collect it. It feels like they've got plenty to get their teeth into over the next few months as this stuff all starts to come off pre-order and hit the shops. And
it's obviously selling though, the Black Series. I got the impression that it was slowing down from the collector's point of view, but that doesn't suggest it's slowing down anytime soon, does it?
No. And you just said, Pete, they've not had much stuff for Bad Batch, Black Series, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch. They've had loads of it. They seem to come through pretty quickly in there.
Yeah, they get it first, don't they? They generally get the lion's. If there's a new show coming out, if there's something coming out, it will generally come out in Black Series, and then you might get 1 or 2 vintage collection, and then the main vintage collection stuff for that series will come later. Interesting, there's no Acolyte stuff coming out though. They've obviously recognised that it's got a huge following.
It had a bit of didn't it get a bit of momentum at Celebration though?
Did it?
People chanting for it and whatnot.
There was a panel, wasn't there, with the guy? I don't know what the panel was, but the guy that plays the Stranger, I think, was talking on something. But wasn't there a Stranger Black Series helmet? Has that come and gone?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it's ever been released yet, is it?
It was on pre-order. I don't know if it's come out yet.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen any on the secondary market, which I would have thought you would have done.
Yeah, I saw a display. I guess it was on the Hasbro booth when they had all of the helmets they've done, and there's loads. They looked amazing. I've only got one. I've got a Stormtrooper one, but when they come out, like that Imperial Death Trooper helmet looks pretty good. But yeah, it's just space. They're huge, aren't they?
There you go, Black Series. So I'm going to just take you through the Lego. It's been quite nice. There's been a few announcements. Nigel said at the beginning about helmets being like we were discussing. There hadn't been one for over a year. We've got the AT-AT driver, great choice. Kylo Ren helmet out has been announced as well, and also a Jango Fett helmet. So it does look like they're starting to dabble back in that line again, which I think is nice to see. Nice to see, because I think they are nice little builds, reasonably priced. They're good fun. Jango Fett's Fire Spray class Starship, a new one out there. I thought that looked okay, not for me, not one that I'll put on my list, but quite a nice piece. 260 quid. It's got quite a nice stand. It gives it a nice angle. 2,970 pieces, so a nice big build. 2 minifigures included in that. Now this one's quite interesting. The Star Wars logo. If you boys saw this, 700 pieces, 60 quid. Would you pick this up?
it feels a little bit filler to me. I think that's kind of like quick. We need to fill how many slots in the spring lineup. So yeah, quick do that. I don't know how today. It just doesn't seem.
I
That
thought
cool.
it'd be all right if you had a massive Star Wars Lego display.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. I actually thought 60 quid was quite reasonably priced for it.
I think it looks quite nice.
Yeah, I probably will buy it. Now, the next one I quite like the looks of. We see these figures, the bigger size figures getting built. You know, we've had 3PO, R2, BB-8, Yoda. They've done Chopper, which I thought looked quite sweet. 95 quid, just over 1,000 bricks. A nice little minifigure of Chopper on the display stand. Yeah, quite like that. And they've also decided to do a K2 SO, which looks really tall. I quite liked, they've made him look a decent height. That's £80, 845 pieces. He looks all right to me. Then some brickheads. I've had a few brickheads in my garage. I'm built, knocking around for ages. My daughter's been building this week. And actually, she loves it. A little bit of a challenge. She's only 7. And actually, I kind of like, okay. She keeps coming in the garage and displaying them in front of everything else. They're kind of like... So I quite like these. Luke Skywalker in his pilot outfit. These are a tenner. I mean, when they're that kind of price, it doesn't matter, does it? Revenge of the Sith 5-pack, ready for the anniversary. So you've got Anakin looking freaky just with his eyes. The Emperor, General Grievous, Mace Windu, and Obi-Wan. Which Obi-Wan I couldn't really... If you just gave me that, I'd struggle to figure out that it was Obi-Wan. But that one's 45 quid. All these are coming out on May the 1st, by the way. And then they've done a U-Wing Starfighter. 60 quid. A few minifigures in there. I think there was 4. And 594 pieces. So that is your Lego. I'm sure they will announce some more May the 4th. They always normally do. Yeah, a few new pieces in the Lego. Any of that grabbing you?
K2 SO looks good.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pete's getting Luke Skywalker Brickhead and the K2. Dan? Star Wars logo.
Yeah, no, I think just the AT-AT driver. I had to have any of them. It'd be that one, the AT-AT driver head.
Not tempted by the other helmets.
No, the U-Wing's quite nice. I could see Harrison maybe getting that, but yeah, there isn't a huge amount that's getting me excited there. But yeah, the AT-AT driver is just going to be a no-brainer. I'm definitely getting that.
If you're buying Lego at the moment, it's a good time to buy Lego. There's some really good offers across at Zavvi, on Amazon, in Smiths. There's some really, really reduced prices and in game. So in the UK, lots of I keep meaning to go back into game because they've got the pod race diorama down to 50 quid at the moment. So, and I know that retires this year. Yeah, a few nice pieces there. Okay, then Pete. So a few oddities I've put in for you.
There are a few oddities indeed. Starting off with a real oddity. So these are the Droid Factory releases. These are all through Disney parks and Disney stores, I believe. The first one is Easter themed astromech with bunny ears called R2BNE. Which have you got this, Stu?
No. I delve into the Christmas stuff, but I don't put up an Easter display.
Yeah, so this one, I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's quite it really is an oddity. So yeah, and coming from the same line, you've got the Pride Collection droid, which is sort of chopper style droid. Again, I think these are coming through the Disney parks, and then you've got the Book of Boba Fett 4-pack. I think they've done a Mandalorian 4-pack before, so they're obviously going through the TV series, and it's described as 4 droids from Garsa's Sanctuary on Tatooine. So yeah, they're coming out on May the 4th. Then going on to the Epic World of Action series. We talked about these before. It's really growing, that line. I think they're up to 10 on the basic assortment now. 3 deluxe figures, and there's multi-packs as well. So they're releasing Pirate Captain Brutus from Skeleton Crew, and you've got a Chewbacca. I couldn't quite find out when, but I'm sure they'll be appearing. So they're the sort of the cheaper line that we've all sort of seen in supermarkets over here, and coming in pretty cheap. I guess they're trying to get the kids into action figures. Next, you've got a new Nerf Glow Strike Stormtrooper Triple Strike Blaster Rifle, which looks quite fun. Obviously, the Hasbro own Nerf, so I guess they just keep on ploughing bits out. That looks quite fun if that's your thing. What else have we got? We've got a Mara Jade Legacy lightsaber. I was looking up who Mara Jade is, and there's huge amounts on Wikipedia, and there seems to be a bit of a whether she's canon or not, I don't know. But there was a huge entry, and I didn't get into reading it. But I'm sure. So you can buy her lightsaber.
I started, but then I thought, nah.
I'll go back to it, but I'm sure if you're considering buying a lightsaber for $325, you'll know exactly who she is, and if you want it or not as well. Again, that's through DisneyStore.com. That's a limited release, 3,500 pieces. And sticking with lightsabers, you've got sort of a 2-pack of Shin Hati and Balin Skull. These are quite cool. Again, released on May the 4th. You've got the 2 hilts and the blades as well. No clue on prices at the moment, but reading some reviews of previous lightsabers, I think they're going to go for about $400 to $500, depending on the sort of the standard of the box they come in. But yeah, they look pretty nice. And then lastly, we've got a deluxe Revenge of the Sith book coming out from Random House Worlds at £45, coming in 14th of October in the UK. This looks pretty nice, real stunning deluxe edition of the novelisation, which is one of the best-selling novelisations they've done from Star Wars. So it's got 170 annotations in there, removable transparent acetate jacket, full wrap illustrated bookcase. Beneath that jacket, red foil sprayed edges on the book, illustrated M papers. It's got a red satin ribbon marker and a belly band. This looks really nice. I think if Revenge of the Sith is your thing, you'll probably be on for this. Great quote I found somewhere as well. It said, widely regarded as one of, if not the best novelizations in the series and possibly the medium. So yeah, high praise indeed.
I thought the book, I only put it in there because I just thought if you are a book person who collects the books, it does look very, very smart. Yeah, some interesting pieces. I mean, I put the Epic World of Action in there because they're still churning out quite a lot of that stuff. When I looked at what the range was now, there's been a lot of pieces since we've been not recording on that. So
yeah, I couldn't find a full list, but they looked to be like 10. I think when I went into one of those Galactic Figures, they seem pretty good on the history of stuff. And it's growing. I don't know where they're picking up. Or if there's more. There's a few ships as well, isn't there? I think they've done Starfighters in there.
Shall I tell you what's annoying me a little bit with, I think, Star Wars collecting and toy collecting now, is everything's got to be pre-ordered so many months in advance that apart from that Epic World stuff, nothing's on the shelf. It's all, you've got to literally pre-order everything now. And I do think it's a little bit of a cop-out from the toy line for toy companies. Just kind of, you just lose that kind of excitement of going in a shop. And I think it is really mainly the likes of Star Wars, because I go in the toy shops and there's loads of wrestling and there's loads of turtle stuff in there at the moment. I just find it quite sad that this stuff doesn't just hit the shelves. Same with the retro collection. If I want to now collect that line, I've got to be on it on the release day to guarantee I'm going to be able to have the opportunity to own that piece. And I do find that quite sad.
I guess the retailers just aren't seeing it as a children's purchase, are they? So they'd be bringing it in because the toy companies, they're producing it. And I guess it's being distributed pretty well because the online sellers are getting it. So it must be being offered to the larger toy retailers. But they don't want it for some reason. I guess they just see it more as a collector's market.
It definitely feels like Star Wars is for the general public is taking a bit of a break when it comes to this stuff. So you go into Tesco's, and even when I was in the States in Walmart, there isn't a huge amount of Star Wars on the shelf. But like you say, Stu, there's tons of wrestling figures and turtles and whatever else is hot at the minute. I think the next time we'll see Star Wars start to appear is going to be next year when The Mandalorian Grogu comes out. I think then you'll start to see Star Wars have more of a presence on the toy shelves. But it definitely feels like it's taking a bit of a breather at the minute for the
It's funny you say that. I went into Sainsbury's today. It's not a massive Sainsbury's, but they've got a small toy bit. But I've been picking up the Formula One cars for the Lego. I thought I'd get all 10 of them because they can all stick up on the wall alongside on the end of one of my cabinets. on one of the end racks today, they had loads of Star Wars stuff, had loads of Lego, a lot of it really reduced down, but they had Black Series figures, which, like, from about 6-7 years ago on the shelf, and all this different stuff. I was meant to take a photo of it, like Play. Do you remember when they bought all the Play-Doh back out?
Yeah.
It was all on the shelf, and I was thinking, is this the stuff you've just found out the back, and you've decided to do like an end cap? I just thought, well, how weird. Yeah, those stretchy figures which they bought out a few years back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Someone's having a clear out. Someone's been down the wholesalers and bought a job lot.
Yeah, I just thought, it's a bit of a.
They get a lot of the toy retailers. They're bringing in like, all the Legos available, isn't it? Whether they just think, well, that ticks off the Star Wars offering. And
I mean, all of them have a good selection of Lego in now, don't they?
What do you want?
You got parts for a pod racer?
Why, you building one?
Lego and Star Wars join forces so you can build authentic Lego Episode 1 pod racers. Command Gungan subs. Pilot Naboo fighters. Battle Darth Maul Sith infiltrator. You've got what it takes to win the day.
If you win, we split the 50-50. Lego baby.
The new Lego Star Wars Episode 1 collection.
Talking of Lego, so we're going to have a short topic about Lego. Just how important Star Wars is to the Lego license. So Star Wars was picked up in 98 by Lego, and they had a license till 2009, which was then extended to 2011, which was then extended to 2016, which was then extended to 2022, and has now been extended to 2032. There's been over 928 main sets to date.
Wow.
There's been 1,389 minifigures to date. So this is a really strong relationship. But actually, Lego owes a lot to Star Wars as well, doesn't it, Dan? Take us through that relationship beginning.
I don't know what it was like for you growing up. There were I remember there being like 3 main lines of Lego. You had Duplo, which is kind of the toddler type Lego. You had the main Lego sets, and then you had like Lego Technic, which was, I remember being in like the senior years of primary school, and we had like science lessons where we'd put Lego Technic together. They were just Legos, the main sets. They weren't licensed. There wasn't any licensees. They built space sets, and I remember there being like castles and knights and stuff like that. There wasn't a general like we've got today with multiple licenses, superhero sets and all sorts of movie tie-ins. There wasn't any of that, and I think by the late 90s, Lego had started to run aground, and it was in a lot of trouble. And they went to bat for a Star Wars license, and they got it, and it all started from there.
Yeah, because Lego were quite close to bankruptcy at one point as well in the 90s. So picking up the Star Wars license, coinciding with Star Wars being big business, it was back, wasn't it? It was, Phantom Menace, the hype, those years leading up to it. It was a very clever connection. It was a very sensible.
And it was the first one they did, before they did Harry Potter, before they did, now I think recently they're doing Lord of the Rings, before they did Marvel sets and Batman sets and anything else you can think of. Star Wars was their first kind of, dipping their toe in, actually, let's make a licensee and start to, recreate some of the environments and vehicles and characters from anything else other than what they'd already had in their own little sandbox that they'd been working on for years and years.
Yeah. So it was a sensible business transaction. Now, I want to ask you, both you boys. I know we all dabble in Lego. So what has been your journey with Lego and Star Wars Lego in particular?
I haven't got that much. I bought the Landspeeder set, which in '99. That first Landspeeder set, I bought that, and I still got that sealed. It's just in a box. It's like in pristine condition, which I love. And I look back at some of those from that era, and I'd like to pick them up, but they're really hard to get hold of in decent condition. But it was just sort of coming out as I was getting out collecting, so I didn't really pick up that much more. And then coming back into it, you realise, or even not being in collecting, you realise just Lego, how big it is and how important sort of Star Wars is to it. So I keep an eye on it. I don't really buy any sets. I've got a few bits. I keep eyeing up sets, but not actually pulling the trigger. So not actually active in the world, but window shopping all the time.
Dan?
We spoke about the helmets quite a bit, so they're kind of a go-to Christmas present. So I've got most of those, other than the TIE Fighter pilot, which is ridiculously priced. But I've got majority of the others. I think my Lego is. I think I bought myself the meditation chamber, the Empire Strikes Back one a few years back. So I've got that I've built myself. But most of my Lego dabblings are through Harrison. So he's got a big collection of Lego now. And I've been buying him sets, since he was kind of 3 or 4 years old. And he's had the advent calendar most years. And, I've lived it through him, really. I think for me, I think I'd watched more of the kind of the Lego content online and with the games as well. So I remember playing the original trilogy game back in probably mid 2000s and really enjoying that. But yeah, and then Harrison's got into a lot of that himself as well and been playing a lot of the games. I think there was a new version of all of those games for the Skywalker saga a couple of years back, and yeah, he got into it as well. So yeah, it's mostly through my son, but it's great. I think it's a great product and in a lot of ways superior to a lot of the other offerings that we get. We've already spoken about this evening through Hasbro and stuff like that. There's definitely if I had to pick between the two, I think I'd rather collect Lego than Hasbro figures. And it was interesting when at Christmas Steve Evans and he mentioned about Lego being the greatest toy ever made, and that's coming from someone that works at Hasbro. I was like, wow, okay, that's a bold statement.
I think it's difficult to argue though, because I actually I've got bits of Lego. I've got the Death Star and I've got the Cantina, which are big sets for Lego Star Wars. I'm currently doing the Falcon. I have droids. I've got smaller sets. Yeah. Got a pod race. Me and the kids built one of the Harry Potter sets at Christmas. I do actually really enjoy it. And actually, the last few months, I'm more likely to buy a set of Lego than anything else, because I find it quite therapeutic. And I think some of the sets are amazing. They nail it. And I think it's value for money. I think as a toy, that Falcon, each section, so each bag section has taken me 2 to 3 hours. There's 17 of them. So, okay, I have to have that time. I'm not one that can put the bricks out and then leave them. I kind of have to finish a section. Yeah. So I have to have the time to do it. But actually, yes, it might be annoying my wife because it's taken up half the dining table. But it's getting there. And I just enjoy building them. I'm very tempted. I keep going into Smith's at the moment and looking at Optimus Prime and Bumblebee because they're both reduced in there and they both look brilliant. And there's so many good lines. Ghostbusters, the Jaws set from last year was brilliant.
Yeah, the Batmobile, the retro Batmobile is nice as well.
Don't get the Optimus Prime. The amount of times that's collapsed and I've had to put it back together. It's rubbish. It's not great.
So the Batmobile now comes a bit further up the There's a few Star Wars ones I'm quite tempted with at the moment, but actually I sat down today. Vectis have got a big Lego sale on middle of May, and I think I must have put 30 odd bits in today, so I don't know what comes through from that. But I'm not one to keep it in the box. If I'm buying it, I want to build it.
Yeah.
It's not they're always an investment, I think, with Lego, but that's not what I would be buying it for. But,
they knock it out of the park so often. I think personally, I don't think they've been as strong the last couple of years. While we haven't been doing many shows last year, but I just it's like the list you rattled off just before we got onto this section. There wasn't anything there that's made me go, I want that set. But maybe that's again, like we mentioned, it could be a symptom of actually Star Wars is having a bit of a rest at the minute. And maybe they'll come back swinging when Mandalorian Grogu comes out, and we'll get a new version of the Razor Crest, and they'll do the new ships from that movie. But
I think some of the dioramas have been quite nice. I've built the Speeder Chase one, and they're quite reasonably priced. There's been a few of them, isn't there? I meant to buy the I quite like the Death Star one. The attack on the Death Star, and I didn't. I missed it. It's been retired since. And they just go.
The Tantive 4 one's nice with the corridor with the Vader and all that.
Yeah, that's down to about 30 quid in one of the sales.
That's quite nice.
Nice set as well. That was one of the early.
But I quite like the modulars. That's the thing with them. They do. If you just like it and you just there's some great sets across other licenses and whatnot. They seem to have gone big on the F1 stuff this year, don't they?
Yeah,
seems to be a lot of it out there. You should go and have a look through the Vectis auction. I think it's like May 17th or something, because they've got like Lego sets from like the 80s, 90s, noughties, and just how it's developed their packaging and everything. It's quite interesting just to look at as a.
Yeah, I've got a couple of old space set Legos that are boxed. One of the the ones that I had as a kid. I only the little tiny ones, but it's quite nice going back and picking some of those up off eBay, even if they're open, just to remember them from when I was little.
Well, so we were going to getting back on track. we were going to discuss that first year of Star Wars where they took the license and these sets came out in 1999 on the build up to the Phantom Menace. I mean, the designs are quite interesting when you look at. I actually bid on a Falcon from I think 2002, I think it was something like that, on that Vectors thing, and like they just couldn't get like they can now. Lego's developed massively in the last 20 years of what they can actually do and the different types of bricks they now use. So it's quite interesting to look at. But we're just going to rattle through the sets that they released that year and what we thought quickly. So you've got the list in front of you. Pete, lightsaber duel 7101.
Yeah, so this was, I guess, in the very first ones they put out. Yeah, so you've got Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn. It's $6 retail when that first came out. So yeah, I guess that's a tiny little set, but it looks great. Seems like entry level episode 1 toy. But yeah, very nice indeed.
Yeah, you look at that speeder now, though. I mean, it's the kind of thing you would now get in the advent calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess they were just testing the water, seeing what they could put out there. And it also looked more Lego, though. I guess some of the bits now look, you can almost they don't look as Lego based. Yeah, they sort of managed to move away from some of that. But these were like proper Lego. You can see the rivets in that.
Well, I've just realised, because I've opened up the page that I sent you as a link, I've missed one out, the land speeder, between what I gave you, Dan, and Pete. I'm looking at that.
I'm looking at it too. Yeah, it's a nice little
brilliant set. It's got Obi-Wan and Luke in there. It's quite squared off. $6 that would have cost you when it was released.
And it's got those old style kind of booster rockets that you used to get with the space Lego on the sides and the back.
See, I would be quite tempted by that now.
Yeah.
That's the one set I've got. That's the one set I managed to keep. I've got that sealed upstairs somewhere.
Yeah.
I love the logo as well. That logo they were using for the first releases as well. That was great.
What, up on the top right of the boxes?
Yeah. With
like little Lego minifigures,
Yeah.
Okay, Dan then, Droid Fighter.
Yeah, not great, is it? I don't know. It's really basic, and I don't like those droids in the bloody movies, anyways. But I just don't think that looks particularly good. That one, I think I've all past that.
You're not giving that any love.
I'm not giving that in. Do you think that looks good?
No, I'm just comparing it to the rest of these sets. No, not really. I wouldn't have bought it even at $6, which probably quite a lot of money at that point.
Well, it was £2 to £1 back then, so you'd have paid about £3 for that. I don't know what that is in today's money, but back in 2000, £3 for a little box of Lego.
So then,
nice little stocking filler.
Yeah. So then I've got the Naboo Swamp, which surprisingly is like $10 as a thingy. So it's got like a couple of like green kind of like mossy tree things for under the water, and then strangely it's Naboo Swamp, but it's got the little droids on the staps flying around. I suppose they're trees, are they? Those green things with a Qui-Gon and Jar Jar minifigure. I looked online actually. I looked on eBay today to see what the last sales with this were, and actually loose. There's been quite a few sales of this one recently. Loose, 15 to 30 quid. And the last sealed one sold, which was in mint condition, 42 quid on the 13th of April. So not horrendous considering they're a 25-year-old Lego set. Pete, speeder bikes. Excited.
Yeah, these look great. I think, to sort of playability as well. So a nice build, and they'd be fun to play with as well. So you get two for $10. That's quite a bargain, isn't it? Do you get the little? There's a Luke. Is it Luke? Yeah, it must be Luke, right? Over in on the box. Where you get him on his little tree stump as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's over by the tree stump. It's quite nice to see that they weren't, they got the license. It wasn't just episode 1, wasn't it? It was
Go back a bit as well, yeah. So looking on eBay, they're 80 quid. You're looking for a sealed one of these, which isn't too bad. It's a nice set. But you can
it's not too bad, is it?
10 quid and over, you can pick up loose sets. Whether they're the original ones, they must have revisited the speeder bikes many a times, but yeah, nice box art as well. Like
Dan, I think probably one of the better ones in the line here, the snow speeder.
Yeah, I think it looks like again they're obviously having to repurpose parts that they've already got in their arsenal, and much like that the land speeder we looked at, I think that cockpit cover it's probably off one of the old space sets. But yeah, they're definitely trying, and they're getting closer to a bit more screen accuracy. It'd be good to see all the different snow speeders they've done over the years and see the evolution of how they develop. But yeah, you can definitely see they're putting the effort in and going the extra mile on this one.
Mate, that would be a brilliant little side focus for you to do. I wonder how many snow speeders they've done. This website I sent you is brilliant. Anybody that wants to look into old Lego sets, brickset.com, everything on it, release prices. You can set up an account on there and put ones that you want to own. It's very, very good. It gives you all the minifigures. Yeah, definitely worthwhile website. But yeah, do it, Dan. See how many snow speeders there are. Come back to us next month and tell us, where your progress is. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anakin's Pod Racer, a nice set. I've bought the anniversary one of this, and actually they're quite similar. Actually, it's got a nice stand now. I don't know if this had a stand. $15 at the time. Comes with 3 minifigures. I think that's Padme, obviously Anakin, and I think it's a pit droid, isn't it? I think running around in there. Don't often see that, but Googled this today. £20 to £40 loose, and the last one's sealed. There was one sealed for £62 on the 19th of April, but there was also one for £45 on the 30th of March. So I don't think that's too bad for a 25-year-old set. Pete, X-Wing Fighter.
Yes, absolute classic. This looks great.
He's laughing at you saying classic, by the way, Pete.
How many times have I said it? Is it classic bingo?
No, but I was listening. I've only just released the committee, haven't I? It was a long time ago we recorded that. And I'll pick it up.
I've got to get one in there. But I'll save it. This is a classic, right? It looks great.
It is a classic, yeah.
And there, I found one on eBay for a sealed one for £170. So they've retained a nice bit of value. Released for $30. Again, same with Snowspeeder. I imagine they've done a number of X-Wings over the years. They did one a couple of years back, didn't they? UCS one, which was very nice. But yeah, I like this.
I think you're dropping the hint because you want to get involved in doing a little project as well, aren't you? That's why you said that. Nice set. Dan, another great one, the Naboo Fighter.
Yeah, I haven't seen a picture of what it looks like from the back to see what that tail looks like, but it looks like it's just got a little stick on the back of it. Other than that, yeah, it looks pretty screen accurate. It comes with a couple of battle droids and Anakin and R2. What more could you want?
Exactly. That's the attitude. Yeah, very nice. And then we've got a 2-pack. Now this was quite interesting. The TIE Fighter with a Y-wing, $50 at the time, so a bit more heavy. 409 pieces. So actually, that doesn't feel like great value when you compare to what you could get for that today. 3 minifigures. Yeah, this one was quite interesting when I looked up the pricing. So loose in the last couple of months, anything from £20 to £90 for it to be complete. And the last one sealed £105 on the 23rd of March. Definitely on the upper end, but, classic ships. I think they're probably a little bit more sought after, aren't they, than some of these kind of...
Yeah, it's pretty cheap, really, for what for the age of the set and how valuable a lot of Lego sets are. You'd have thought that one would carry a bit more.
Yeah.
Carry a bit more value, but yeah, pretty cheap.
Well, the last one I'm going to do has got a lot. It has gone up in price, but we'll get to that in a minute. Pete, the Sith Infiltrator. Now, I'm aware, like Dan said, he had to order a hot toy when I put it in the show notes. I'm aware that you're now chasing this hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I haven't watched episode 1 for a while. Do you actually see this in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's what he arrives on, isn't it?
In on Tatooine, yeah, and he comes out the back with his little bike, and he's got the the probe droid things that come out and follow people around.
I need to like Star Wars more. Yeah, and it's coming with does he come with his little bike as well? So you get both. That's quite a nice sort of set to play with. And coming in at $30, that's pretty good at the time. I couldn't find any sealed examples of this on eBay, but Bricklink is putting it in about £160, so probably quite a sought after set. And for all those animated fans, if Maul's coming back next year, it's only going to go up in value, isn't it?
It's a very boxy one, isn't it? It's very squared off and kind of.
It's quite sort of Lego Technic down, like you mentioned earlier. It looks like it can come out of that. Can I come out of that world?
Dan, another one which is quite exciting, isn't it? The Gungan sub.
What is this?
$50. That $50.
I think this is the worst one out of a lot of them. It looks like I think so. It just looks like a big load of bricks thrown together. No, I wouldn't. I don't like that. I don't think I'd go after that one personally. It doesn't look like it does in the film. They're all sat in separate pods. In the movie, they're all sat together. Why are they in
That's
separate
true.
sections?
Was it blue in the film? I can't remember.
It was kind of bluey grey.
Bluey
Yeah,
grey, yellow.
no, it had a bit. Like, I need to like Star Wars more. Watch episode 1 again. I think it was blue. I don't like that one.
No, okay, fair enough. And then like the Mos Espa pod race. Now, this was $90. Quite a big set, this one. 10 minifigures in this, which I think straight away is the only one we've had that had that kind of number of minifigs. I mean, when you look at the pictures, 3 pods in there. You've got Sebulbas, you've got Anakins, and I can never say his name. Gasganos, the green one. So you're talking 3 pod races. You've got Anakin, you've got Sebulba, you've got Gasgano in there, Padme's there, Qui-Gon's there, R2, Jar Jar Binks. I think there's a pit droid. I'm not quite sure who the other 2 are in it though. I think there might be a couple of pit droids looking at the image on the front of the box. But yeah, interesting set, and I can see why this one has become quite desirable over time.
Yeah.
Because I looked today and there was a loose one sold on the 13th of April for £135, but that's the only loose one. I don't know how long you have to go back. There's parts of it, but not a complete set. And there's only been one sold in the UK in the 6-month kind of log they give you on eBay, £343. So this one has gone up and does look desirable. Yeah, quite an interesting looking set. I think the actual Anakin's pod is the same one in the individual set. Yeah, seems to be.
I guess everyone's chasing those minifigs, aren't they? I guess there's probably exclusive ones.
Yeah, that's exactly it. 4. It does say there, doesn't it? 4 unique to the set. So I suppose Gasgano, probably not come up in Lego form too often. Sebulba as well. They're probably clearly the one that's holding the most value out of all of these. And then there was a couple of other little bits and pieces. Pete, a droid developer kit. What's that all about?
I don't know. I've just found this. It's completely different styling to everything else. I guess Mindstorms was a big thing in Lego, but slightly off my radar. Yeah. So they did Mindstorms on loads of other different licenses. And I guess I can only find the actual picture of the box, and it's giving me no help. I don't know if you can see that as well, but it just gives you no clue.
So if you look if you click on it and you go to the parts, it's all just droid parts. And what I would imagine you're talking about here was a load of, a bit like the Droid Factory back in like the 70s and 80s, a load of pieces with an instruction manual to make different droids. So quite an interesting concept.
Yeah. They would have been sort of moving on that sort of Lego Technic, that world again, because it just zooming in on, you can see the wheels and the sort of like the technical bit down below. So you probably have the sort of the Star Wars or the droids, sort of like recognizable heads in that, and then you can sort of say, yeah, probably quite fun. $100 at the time.
Yeah, it's the most expensive one we've seen here, isn't it?
Yeah, so quite an investment, and you can get it for £123 today. So. It's not that much love for it, but
the box looks a bit like like the old PC game boxes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it seems a little bit out of the. I guess like I say, I guess Mindstorms was a big thing, and they're just like bringing it across the license.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those.
And I mean, I have keychains. I've got Ahsoka on my garage keys. I've got the Princess Leia on my back door key, and I've got a Leia Hoth on my front door key. But a couple of keychains, they were already going back in 1999, Dan.
Yeah, and I think this was it's quite clever of Lego. They weren't allowed to release figures on their own because Hasbro had the license, and it was all kind of tied up in contracts. So they got around it with key rings. So if you wanted to buy a minifigure on its own, you'd have to buy these and pull the key ring out of its head so you could have the figure. But yeah, this was the start of it. I mean, you go to Legoland. I mean, I've been to Legoland for years, but I remember when I used to take Harrison there was a kid, and you go in the Star Wars shop, they would have walls of these, all different characters. I think it's great. I mean, when you look at how they released, blind pack figures for Simpsons and other lines, it's a real shame that they can't do it for Star Wars. I know you mentioned there, was it 1,000 odd minifigures they've released over the last 25 or plus years?
Yeah, I think 1,300 something, yeah.
But you look at the prices that some of those go. on eBay. Some of them are really expensive now, aren't they? They're just crazy. Be great to be able to buy these without a keyring drilled into its head and have a nice display of them. Different sets they could do, but unfortunately they're not allowed to do that for Star Wars. But yeah, these are great items.
Yeah, certainly. I've quite enjoyed looking through these original thing. I quite fancy sitting down and going through each year and seeing how it develops. But yeah, some interesting sets here. So, what's your favourite and least favourite of these sets, Pete?
Still the land speeder I like, which is the one I've actually got, which it just looks great because obviously it's so obviously Lego, but it's just a real simple little build. So yeah, big fan of that one. And the one I like the least, probably have to go to mine, the droid developer, I think, but it's because it's just completely out of the series, and I don't know anything about it.
Fair enough, Dan.
Well, it's a toss-up between the droids, for the one that I like the least, between the Droid Starfighter and the Gundam Sub. But as it's so much more expensive, I'm going to go to Gundam Sub as my least favourite. And my favourite, I'm going to go with the Pod Racer 3-pack.
Yeah, nice choice. I think you're being quite hard on the Gundam Sub. I don't think it's as bad as you're making out.
Well, go and buy one then. Go and get yourself one and build it.
Okay.
I think you should. There's a project for you.
Okay.
I'm going to go and pay 60-70 quid for a crappy looking Gundam Sub. Fill your boots.
Okay.
How much is it going for? 162 brand new box. So why don't you go and buy one of them and then open it up?
I mean, some people have got ridiculous prices on eBay. What is going on eBay?
The Gungan Sub Focus, Jim.
I mean, people are selling them from 40 quid to like 500 quid on eBay. I'm like, right, yeah. I didn't say it was the best there, did I? I just said I think you're being a little harsh on it. The Droid Fighter is clearly the worst one there. What did you go with the best? The 3-pack of...
Yeah, the 3-pack with Sebulba and Gascon and
yeah.
I like that.
I quite like the Y-Wing and the TIE Fighter. I think that's quite a nice looking set back in the day. And I do love the Land Speeder. The Land Speeder just looks like old Lego.
Yeah.
But you also know it's Star Wars. There's something about it. I don't know whether it's the package because they've put the images on a sandy land with some rocks. Yeah, I'm quite taken by that. Quite taken by that. Yeah, interesting. Well, there you go. Go and get involved in a bit of these early sets. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. I'm now on eBay looking at them. I reckon we might well have one in hand.
The Land Speeder.
I don't know. Could be any of them, Pete. I mean, if you type it in, clearly in 2000, the Gungan Patrol comes out, and they've got a couple of Lego Cadoos in there with a couple of Gungans sitting on the top. I mean, how exciting is that? Life doesn't get more exciting than that.
You like a Cadoo, don't you?
Oh, I like a Cadoo, and I like a Kazoo. No doubt I will be releasing an album. Don't know what I'm going on about. Well, that is the first line of Lego. Be great to hear people's opinions on that. Perhaps we could do something on We Are Generation Skywalker. I'll throw that out there knowing that it will never appear. So, boys, from everything we've talked about on the show tonight that you haven't already got ordered, what would you be buying? Dan?
I would call out the Star Wars Lego head, but I know I'm going to get that. So I'll go with the Bantha.
Like a Bantha.
Yeah,
that's choice. Oh, my God, sorry, but I've just found an old twin pod cloud car Lego set. That is the best. I've got to copy the image and put it in our chat because that's just I'm going to put it on Facebook chat because I can't get the chat open on it. This is brilliant. Look at this thing. Now tell me this isn't good. It's just amazing. That is off the time as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love that. Sorry. I digress again.
Yeah, that's nice.
I've just added it to my watch list. Yeah, Pete. Dan's going to buy himself a. Already forgotten what he said, but what did you say, Dan?
The Bantha.
The Bantha, yeah. Good choice.
I think, the Bantha looks very nice, but I think maybe the Lego K2SA.
Yeah, good choice again.
Yeah, I think that's quite appealing.
Just having a quick re-look through because actually nothing's really stuck in my head.
Well, the Luke's land has the vintage collection land speed is really nice.
Yeah, I'm a bit stuck on that tonight. I think it'll probably be another hot toy, probably Plo Koon to go with my Kit Fisto. I think I will say.
I think I will say. Now, next month's show, we are going to be delving into and going through the Revenge of the Sith line. Do you boys remember playing with those toys? Maybe
Nope.
not playing with it.
No.
Did you dabble at that point?
No.
2005?
No.
Dabbling.
Okay, well, you best get
Okay.
researching, because there was some very good figures in there. So we'll be discussing the packaging, a big packaging change for Revenge of the Sith, and we will be going through what was available at that time. We've got pregnant ladies, we've got babies, we have got all sorts to come in that show. So we're going to have a show. There'll be no announcements on that show. We will be dedicating the whole show to Revenge of the Sith toys. Go and check us out. Go over to Facebook. Check out Generation Skywalker page. That's where we make announcements. And the We Are Generation Skywalker Facebook group, where we do try to have a bit more community feel in it. Go over to Instagram. Again, just search for Generation Skywalker. We haven't done any new YouTube videos of recent times, but we will return to that. But there is a huge back catalogue of some wonderful videos that Craig and Dan have done over the years. There's some great stuff over there. So go and have a little look at Generation Skywalker on YouTube, because there's so much good content on there. It really needs appreciating. But lads, thank you. The Modern Way, always good fun. Always enjoy it. I can't wait to see what you've bought next month. But it is good night from Pete.
Good night, everyone. Cheers, mate.
It is good night from Danny.
Goodbye.
And it is good night from me. We're Generation Skywalker. All eras, all passions, all Star Wars.